Okay.
Okay, guys, welcome to our Monday night call. I am Christine Savicki. I know we have probably a lot of new ambassadors here because our team was blowing up last month. Awesome. So for those of you that are new, I'm Christine Savicki, Sapphire Ambassador, one of the leaders of our team, Golden. And with me tonight is Valerie DiVaccaro. Val, give a wave. Give a wave, Val.
I did.
And another gold diggers. So tonight I'm so excited. I've been asking her for like the past couple of months to hop on a call with us. I don't know why she muted herself. Did you mute yourself, girl?
I'm unmuted. Go ahead.
So I have been asking my friend Alicen Breaux to hop on a call with us for the past couple of months, and finally it has worked out. So I am so pumped and excited to have you with us tonight. So I'm just going to give a little background. Alicen has been with Plexus for, well, I know you said this month is her 5-year diamond anniversary, but I know you've been with Plexus for what, like 6 or 7 years?
April made 7 years, so a couple months past 7 years.
Yeah. So Alicen was the youngest person to turn diamond, like so awesome, out of the entire company. So she went emerald at 25, and then she went diamond at 26. And like I said, she's been diamond for 5 years now. And we are so pumped that she is going to share with us tonight some of her tips and tricks and like tips for success and what has gotten her to where she is, and what she thinks are some of her top tips for leading a successful business. So we are so excited to hear from you. So take it away, my friend.
Awesome. So it's all ambassadors on, right? Is it a team call?
What?
It's a team call, so it's all ambassadors. Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
All ambassadors, yeah.
Right. So like Christine said, been in the company for 7 years. I always say that I feel like I've grown up with Plexus. And an interesting fact that all of you may not know is y'all are all somewheres on my Plexus team. I don't think we ever figured it out, but Christine's kind of far down in my downline, maybe like level 10 or so. We'd have to figure it out. So y'all are all somewheres on my Plexus team. So it's nice to meet y'all. I am from Louisiana. I have 3 kids, 2 kids and a stepson, so count that as 3. Married, 5 years. July made 5 years since I hit the rank of diamond, so it's a pretty exciting month for me. I won't go super deep into my story, but I'll just tell you that when I started Plexus, and I tell you this because I like to, like, when you see me now as a diamond ambassador for 5 years, this is kind of like my chapter 30, but my chapter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has not always been that. I started as a single mom. When I started Plexus, I was working 2 jobs or 3 jobs to get by. I didn't get any kind of financial support for my son, and I always tell people that I fell in what I call the government gap. So I was one of those moms that was out there busting it, but I couldn't get any kind of state support or any kind of support to help me. I couldn't keep a savings account open. I tried my hardest, but I couldn't. I discovered credit cards and maxed out several credit cards. So that was kind of my life when I found Plexus. And besides just financially struggling, I was at one of the lowest places in my entire life mentally. I was overweight. I was depressed. I was uncomfortable in my own skin. It was just a rough spot in my life when I saw Plexus, a post about Plexus on Facebook. And I had tried other stuff before. I'll tell you that I started my journey at 268 pounds. I've lost 93 pounds with the Plexus products, and most of that was in a 2-year period. I've lost close to 100 inches with the Plexus products. I no longer take antidepressants. Obviously, now I could have a savings account. And we're really working hard towards, my husband's an Emerald Ambassador too. And we're really working hard to just live smartly and work towards being debt free. And so those are some big goals in my life that are possible because of Plexus. And so I tell you my chapter those other things about me, not because I'm so proud of that part of my life, but because I like to just explain to people that you don't have to be all glitz and glam and have all of your stuff together to start this business and be successful at Plexus. I'm definitely a prime example of that. Also, when I started Plexus, I just was not somebody that had a huge group of friends. If I'm being honest, I had my little boy the month after I had him. I turned 21, so I was a mom. And all of the people my age were still out doing what 21-year-olds do, right? So I didn't have a large influence. I didn't have a large group of friends. I was nobody's dream teamer. So maybe you could relate to that and maybe you can't. But no matter where you're starting, I think it's important to remember that anybody who is determined, anybody that has a big enough why, and anybody who is willing to work hard can be successful at Plexus. And just keep that in mind. It doesn't matter where you started. It's about what you're willing to do to get there. So I'll kind of give you some tips, and I'll kind of go back to, since Christine said y'all have a bunch of new ambassadors, I'll kind of go back to where I started and tell you what I did when I started and tell you some of the things that I still do now. I know that a lot of times we see so many things on social media, and we see so many different things, and so we kind of get our mind pulled into a bunch of different directions of, maybe I need to do this to work my business. No, maybe I need to do that to be successful. Or, we get pulled in a bunch of different directions sometimes. And I'm here to tell you that there are a handful of things that worked when I first started with Plexus. And no matter how many times I go off and try to be fancy, that same handful of things are the things that still work. And so I always encourage my team to stick to the basics. So if you hear Christine or Valerie talking about back to the basics or sticking to the basics, you don't have to make this business complicated. So when I first started Plexus, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I had never been in network marketing before. I didn't have a huge audience, but I knew that when I drew my line in the sand and decided I was going to do this business, I knew that I had to build me an audience of people that I was going to advertise to. I had to build my influence, right? So what I did is I started adding people on social media. You may be comfortable with that. You may not be comfortable with that. That's what I did. I started adding people on social media because at my age, I knew that nobody really was going to take me seriously because they were at a different point in their life. But also, even if you are not a 24-year-old starting Plexus, if you have maybe if you have 400 friends, you could have more. So build your audience, add friends, find your cousin's friends, if they're not doing Plexus with you, or somebody add their friends on social media, and just slowly start to build your social media audience so that you can share Plexus with more people. And so that's what I did. I'm a big social media person. As far as I believe in social media, I'm a big believer in consistency and making things simple. So what I did is I started posting on social media, and I made myself a promise that if I'm going to post on social media, I'm going to do it every day. And so I want you to know that if you're posting on social media and you're posting once a week or once a month, people are not going to take you seriously, right? But I think that what you post matters. And so what I encourage my new ambassadors to do, or even if you're not new, is I encourage you to act as if social media is your Plexus diary, your Plexus journal, right? And so all you're doing is documenting your Plexus wins. Okay, it's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be, let me research this ingredient and be super fancy and post all about it. If you are able to eat half of your food in front of you on your plate, and you would have normally devoured it plus another plate, post it on social media. And I tell this story because I get this all the time. People say, well, I had a girl come to me and she's like, well, I don't know what to post on social media. And I said, okay, let's talk it out. And I always ask my new people this too, or people who are going to make their first post or they don't know what to post. I said, let's talk it out. What are you experiencing? What have your wins been? Not with just with the scale, not just with, that type of thing. What have your wins been? How is your appetite? How's your energy? How's this? And so she says to me, well, what I really am excited about is that I don't have to lay on the bed every day, every morning to button my pants anymore. I could just pull them right up. And I'm like, yes, like that is the kind of stuff. I said, do you know how many people can relate to that? People are laying on their bed every day to button their pants. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff you want to post on social media, right? The stuff that's real, the stuff that people can relate to. Open up, be transparent, and share your wins. Like I said, if you are somebody who was eating 2 servings of food every night and you notice you can only eat 1 or half of your, take a picture of your food and talk about how Plexus is helping with your appetite. If you have more energy to play with your kids, talk about how you have more energy to play with your kids. Take a picture of your kids and post that on social media with something. So you're sharing your wins. As I've shared my Plexus journey, every inch, every pound, every victory, every win, I've documented it in a way of sharing my story, because people can relate to so many different things. Also, another point of social media is, well, of course, consistent. Let's see. Sharing from your heart. So like I just said, just share it. Don't take it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be scary at all, okay? Just share your journey. And then also realizing that posting on social media only gets you so far, right? So you can post on social media every day, but if you are not, you have to reach out to people too. And so a lot of people you may be thinking, well, I don't know how to reach out to people. So some tools that I like to share with my team with reaching out to people, because it kind of you don't want to make it awkward, right? So Christine, I don't know if you've shared the magic message with them. Have you heard of that and shared that? So the magic, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just I mean, I know there's a couple different versions out there, but what I use is, hey, now you put me on the spot.
Have you heard of Plexus? Somebody said, yeah, we have it in our group. Yeah.
Yeah.
So simple like that. Or, if I watch, if you go through, and this is another good one, if you go through and watch the Diamond documentaries, I'm really big on watching the Diamond documentaries, or if you're not in our Plexus Journeys group, which is a huge, huge testimony group that I run, I'll read testimonies in there. And so I might reach out to Christine, say Christine's a teacher, just using this as an example, and I watch a teacher Diamond doc, I might say, Christine, I just watched a great Plexus story, and I automatically, as soon as I watched it, I thought of you, and compliment her. I thought of you because this teacher was so genuine, and she had so many traits that you have, and I think that you could really do well with Plexus. So you're truly, genuinely reaching out to people, but you're posting on social media, you're reaching out to people, word of mouth. When I started, I did not have the income to buy business cards and all kind of stuff, right? So what I did is I posted on social media, I made myself some flyers, I reached out to people, and I used word of mouth, which is pretty much free advertising, right? That's what I did. So something I love about Plexus is you don't have to spend a ton of money to get started with products. You don't have to go into debt. And I say that because there are truly a lot of companies that people are out there making loans to start their network marketing business. And we are very blessed that we don't have to do that. And so that's kind of how I started. Was I went straight to social media because I didn't know anything else. And that's why I share some social media tips with you guys. I didn't know anything else. I had no clue. I'm like, let's just do this. And it's funny to think back of so many things that I did then when I didn't know what I was doing, or things that I still do today and they still work today. So social media, my biggest tip probably, and I said this a little bit, is just consistency. There have been months in my business, that it didn't go like this. It's going like this, and there are times when your business is not going to go straight up, and that's okay. You have to keep going. You have to be consistent. So post it on social media, reaching out to people, encourage people to make their list. And here's the biggest tip I can give you with getting your new ambassador started. And I don't know if any of y'all are statistic people, but I like to take surveys into our Jules group. I like to find out why things happen, or numbers and stuff like that. I talk to our sales team a lot. And what they told me is that the average ambassador that is just an ambassador will stay in the company maybe about 2 to 3 months, okay? But when an ambassador reaches silver, the average time that they will stay in the company is 12 to 15 months. So what that tells me is we got to get our people to silver, right? We have to get ourselves to silver, and we have to get our people to silver. And there's no better month to go silver than July, right? Because if you are a brand new ambassador and you find 3 people, 3 friends that want the triplex hunger control, equals $275 this month. So if you could just find 3 friends, you make above what you paid to even get started in Plexus. But even on not a double promotion month, we want to go out and we want to share the Plexus, and we want to take ourselves out of the equation and kind of think of how many people we can help. I had 2 people come to me since the weekend and share their story with me. And I love when people share their stories with me, because it just kind of reminds you that you have to take yourself out of the picture and take your fears. You have to do it scared and share, because there are people out there who need Plexus. One of the girls told me that she was able to stop. She's been on the products right under 60 days. She's on the triplex with the hunger control, the new hunger control. I'm in love with it. But she was able to stop her anxiety medicine, her anxiety/depression medicine, in under 60 days of taking the Plexus triplex. So she's so excited. I had another lady that came to me. She's on my team. Her husband has been fighting with a rash since 2013, so 5 years. He's going to dermatologists in Louisiana, doctors. He's going out of state. He's done everything. He's taken other probiotics. He's done everything. He's been on the triplex for about 2 months now, and his rash is 90% gone. So when you hear stories like that, it just kind of reminds you to take yourself out of the equation and think about how many people you can help with the products, right? How many people can you help? I think that work in our business and being successful, I could tell you some wording that I use that my team really loves. Actually, I just had a level 1 reach out to me, and I helped her with some wording. She was sharing a conversation that she was having with somebody else. I always lead with the opportunity, because what I also know is that about 75% of our jewels, and out of the jewel rank, the emerald rank, the average jewel rank, you make about an average of $10,000 a month or more as a jewel, okay? So probably 75% of those jewels only joined Plexus for the cheaper prices, right? But at some point, it made them, something triggered that made them want to work their business. Some of those things, when I did a survey, was that they loved the products, their upline shared, they were added to a group and they were really encouraged, or their upline shared their check with them. But so because we know that 75% of people signed up for wholesale only for the cheapest prices, you never want to discount those wholesale people. So if I have somebody that's coming to me that wants the triplex, at least the triplex or maybe a little bit more, I'm going to talk to them about signing up with me as an ambassador. But here's the key. When talking to somebody about signing up as an ambassador, I might introduce them to the triplex to sign up, of course, because they'll get that in their welcome pack. But the true deal, the true kicker for me with retention and keeping people on board is getting a commitment, asking for that commitment from people. And so I will say words to somebody like, okay, Christine, we're going to get you signed up with with the triplex welcome pack. You qualify for that option. You qualify for wholesale because you're doing that option, because you're doing those products. And so here's what I got to tell you. So what we're going to do is we're going to get your welcome pack. We're going to set up your subscription, because guys, the subscription is so important. Okay. We're going to set up your subscription, and I cannot wait to see where you are after 90 days of taking your product. And so right there, I'm telling them, I need you to commit to 90 days of taking your products, because Plexus is awesome, but it's natural supplements, and you're not going to lose 30 pounds in 2 months. It's not, maybe some people will, but it's not very common. So you have to set realistic expectations and get commitment from people. And so, and then I guess the last little group of thing I'll share with you guys is just, and it's kind of back to the basics. And the bottom line is, if you want to be successful with Plexus, you have to get customers and you have to get ambassadors. You have to grow your team. You have to find friends that want to do this with you, right? I'm a Diamond ambassador, and I am my seven years in, and I've sponsored 7 new ambassadors this month in July. Okay. So if I can find ambassadors to still enroll at this point, last month I sponsored 5 ambassadors. Does it look like that every month? No, it doesn't look like that every month. Some month I might sponsor 2 the next month, but I do sponsor monthly, right? Because, and so here's what you have to remember. If you're not sponsoring and you're not building, then your business can't grow, right? So 1 in every 10 people that we bring into the company will actually work the business. 1 in every 10 people that we enroll will actually get it like we do and actually start working the business. And I say get it because you're on this call. You obviously get it. You're interested in doing more with Plexus. So 1 in every 10. So if you haven't gotten to your 10 yet, don't get discouraged if you haven't found anybody that's working the business with you, because it's truly a numbers game, and you have to be talking to people. So just because you're talking to 3 people right now doesn't mean that 3 people are going to join you. Okay. So you can't keep talking to the same 3 people and cross your fingers. I mean, cross your fingers. I hope those 3 people join you, but you can't have just those 3 people in your basket and hope, I'm just waiting for those 3 people to join me. You need to talk to 100 people. Because what happens is you have to know your ratios. So when we start Plexus, as we're building our confidence and we're building our story, we might have to talk to 50 people before we can get 1 person signed up, right? And then as we continue to get better and more confident and more knowledgeable, then it might get down to, okay, 1 in every 30 people that I talk to, I sign up. And right now, I would probably say 1 in every 7 or 8 people that I talk to, I sign up as an ambassador or customer. But that's, I mean, you get experience and you get to have your story and you share and stuff like that. So the basics, when I say back to the basics, here's what I want you to focus on. Action, okay? You have to be in action. So posting on social media, reaching out to people. Once you have those people, follow up is key. If you are not checking on your new ambassadors and encouraging them and helping them, not just with the business, but with their product results, getting their product results is what's going to make them want to share, right? The better their product results are, the more they have to share. So following up is important. So I said, okay, so posting on social media, reaching out, following up, and just building, building. Personal development is super important, and just figuring out how you can be better. And then go back and do it again. So I'm sure Christine talks a lot about daily activity and just IPAs. And those are the things that matter. If you do an IPA sheet every single day and you just focus on that, you could be successful with Plexus. If you just, and you don't have to, I had somebody today and she's like, well, I don't know if I could do this because I have a hair salon and I don't know that I could put in the time. And people think that you have to do this 8 hours a day or 6 hours a day. Or, when I first started Plexus, like I said, I had 2 jobs. If I didn't have 2 jobs, I had 3 jobs. I was a single mom. I had a small kid. So I worked my business in the morning. I worked my business at my lunch break. I worked my business a little bit in the afternoon. It might have totaled an hour or so a day, but I broke it up in different sections to where I could fit it in. And I think that is important, is knowing that, if this is truly if it's truly a priority, then you can definitely find the time to get those activities in. So just stick to the basics and stick to the IPAs and focus on activity and really being consistent, because you being consistent is going to attract people to you. They're going to say, okay, this person's sharing about Plexus all the time. They are passionate. They're sharing their story. They're getting results. They are helping people make money. I want to join them because they're obviously the real deal when it comes to Plexus. They obviously are passionate about this company and the products. So
yeah.
I think that's it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I love hearing you. I love hearing you share so much of the same stuff that we do. This lets our team know that this is what, like, all of the, you know, people who are growing their business, we're all doing the same thing. We're all pretty much back to basics. Like, we've all realized, those of us who have been in this for a while, realize that, you know, simple is what worked in the beginning, and simple is what works. Back to basics. So important.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Consistency is so important. Consistency, you know, with building our business, consistency with taking the products, whether you're a customer or an ambassador, consistency all the way around is just so important. Being determined and setting priorities. And I love how you say, like, finding the time. You know, you may have, when you started, you may have worked your business maybe here and there in, like, the nooks and crannies of the day, and it may have added up to an hour, but you did that every single day.
Exactly.
So, just that in the very beginning, you know, you can work this, whether if you're working 1 hour a day, that's fine. You're doing it every single day. You can't work your business 1 hour a day, every other day, 3 days. You know, you have to be consistent and do what you can, but you have to do it every day.
Exactly.
So
and what you do in that hour is what makes all the difference in the world too, right? Because you can work your business an hour a day, but if you're scrolling through Facebook, reading group posts and stuff like that, that's not really working your business. So it's the point of doing those, okay, I'm going to sit down this 15 minutes, and in this 15 minutes, I am going to reach out to every single person that has showed interest in Plexus. Okay, this next 15-minute period, I am going to follow up with every single ambassador and customer. This 15 minutes, I'm going to do this. It's about doing the things that matter in that time, because you can get so sucked into doing stuff that's not going to grow your business.
Absolutely. Like, in the second, we're going to take, like, after we let you go, we're going to be taking like the last 10 minutes of the sister are going to be focusing on power hours and why they're so beneficial and how much you really can get accomplished in 1 hour. You're really truly putting your pedal to the metal, and you're working your business.
Exactly. And if you can't do a power hour, do 2 power half hours. Or 2, 4 15-minute sessions.
Yeah.
However you can do it.
Yeah, what works for you may not work for me, may not work for Val, may not work for Kathleen, may not work, but the point is just work, just do the work whenever it fits your schedule, which is the beauty of this business, is that, all of our schedules obviously are different, and we can work this business into our business.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
So, thank you so much. We're not going to keep you.
Thank you, Alicen.
No problem,
Thank you.
guys. Thank y'all for having me on. It was nice chatting with all y'all.
Bye.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much. All right,
You're welcome.
bye. Okay. Well, I think that was so awesome. I don't know about you guys. Val, where are you? I can't even see you.
I'm right here.
Um,
Right above
wow.
on my screen.
That was so great. Like I said, I love how she just talks about going back to basics, because that truly is what is most important. It's not complicated. This business is not complicated. And I've said from the very beginning, like 4.5 years ago, consistency is the most important component of all of this, I think. Whether you're talking to your customers and they're feeling discouraged, they have to be consistent every single day with their product. And working your business and posting, you have to be consistent every single day. So like Alicen said, if you're determined and you set this business as a priority, then, anyone can be successful. Anyone, whatever goal, and rank you're working towards, you can achieve it if you make it a priority. So I think it was awesome.
Yeah, I love that she said that get back to basics, because I know we've all fallen into the let's try something shiny and new, and it always comes back to what we are originally doing. And she's right. It's simple. Keep it simple, and that's exactly what works. Always.
And these are duplicatable. And
yes.
And one other thing that I would talk about was qualifying your leading with the application, but making sure that they qualify. So, and we have gotten as a team, like our team as a whole has gotten so incredible at doing this and making sure that, you know, we qualify ambassadors before signing them. But just hearing that she's doing the same thing, and making committed to, you know, using the product subscription on for 90 days. I love that, you know, it's just nice to know that we're all on the same page and doing the same thing.
Agreed.
So, as I promised, we've already gone, you know, over half an hour. So we're going to take like the next 5 or 10 minutes. And I think it's a great segue. How she was talking about, you know, spending an hour a day. I work more than an hour a day. But, you know, she was in the beginning, you know, lots of you work, you know, this may not be your full time yet. So you may not spend an hour a day or 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, maybe all that you have. And again, just doing that every day is super important. But Val and Marie have been awesome. Power hour once a week. They have a great group of people that they have involved in this, and they set up a time, the same time every single week, to dedicate 1 hour to working their business. Obviously, they do this multiple times a week, but as a group, they do it once a week. So they're going to chit chat about what they do on their power hour and what they do on their own power hours and why it's so successful and what benefits that they're getting from it. So Val and Lori, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted. Lori's
There we go. Okay.
You want to talk, Lori? Or you want me to go
Either.
first?
You go first.
So me and Lori and our team, we meet every Wednesday. And the purpose of this is to hold each other accountable. That's why we started this, so that we could get people in a rhythm of how to do this. And at the same time, it holds us all accountable to do the work, because we're all sitting there in front of each other and we have to do it. So we come prepared. That is the biggest thing when it comes to doing a power hour or sitting down to work in general, is being prepared for what you need to do. So we ask people initially we asked people to come with a list of 10 people that they wanted to reach out to. Now, a power hour doesn't have to be just people that you're reaching out to. It could be people that you need to follow up with, or people that you're, it could be ambassadors that you need to contact, or customers that you need to follow up with. So if you put those names down and what you need to do in that hour that you're meeting, you know exactly what you need to do, and you can get straight to work instead of worrying about, oh, I missed this person. So you're always working off a list. And I mean, I like that we do this because it helps to, build a team bond with all of us too. It's fun. It's not, we don't feel like we're doing work necessarily, but what we do is we get on a Zoom call and we actually pause the Zoom for the 5 minutes that we're going to work, message as many people in that time period, get back, go back, have a conversation about what we did. If anybody needs help with verbiage or whatever, we can help them with that on who they're going to reach out to next. We pause it again. So really, essentially, it's 10 minutes of full on working. It's not even an hour. And in that time, we're averaging messaging 8 to 12 people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of work getting done in 10 minutes. So it really is about what?
Probably people that you wouldn't normally message. Am I right?
Right. Right. I mean, sometimes I come with, my list varies every week. Sometimes it's people that I am working on a relationship with. It's not necessarily someone I'm saying anything about Plexus to yet. Some people are people that I am saying, that have shown interest, and now I'm following up with Plexus. Sometimes it's ambassadors that I need to contact about, are they taking their products correctly? Because, we all have wholesale people that we need to contact and follow up with, just the same as a customer. So it varies from week to week, but I always come prepared so that I have it done. And that's the same thing with how I just work in general, is I make a list in my planner of who I need to contact that week, who I need to follow up with on what days, so I can keep track of that and I'm not looking around and trying to figure out who am I going to message today. I already know who I'm going to message that day. So I don't know, Lori, if you want to add anything to that.
Well, I just wanted to add, like, Alicen talked about if you don't know where to start, do those stack sheets in the back office. And if you're trying to train a new ambassador on how to sit down and what to do for a power block of time, send them that file or have them find it and print it out. And that is a great little lesson plan to start on what to do for this block of time that you're carving out in your day. And like Val said, it's not usually an actual hour of us typing on the call. It's troubleshooting, having a good laugh with everybody, because we all get that silly response from somebody or, so we can share in each other's obstacles when it comes to this kind of stuff. But that is a great starting point. And, a lot of us have been doing this long enough where we sometimes don't need that stack sheet in front of us because we have like a million different lists. I finally consolidated all of mine, and it is a great way to just see how this is done so you can then trickle it down to your people. And one of my trainers at convention was Roz Payne. And she does power hours with her people that work full time, and they do 15 minutes on their lunch break. She calls them up. They do 15 minutes on their lunch break. And, she's building a solid team of business builders and just, helping them with 15 minutes a day. Now, obviously they go home and I'm sure they do a little bit more but now they know how to do this on their own once she has done this with them. I also wanted to say, if you have not listened to Emily Gibson, go to YouTube tonight, look up Emily Gibson, How to Work Like a Diamond, session 1. It is her doing, there's 4 parts. It's part 1. It's her doing a power hour, literally in her living room with her kids running around on a Monday morning, no makeup on, blah, 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 blah. She still looks good with no makeup on, but whatever. And you're literally like, she's talking. So it's more than her doing an hour of work, but she's literally inviting you into her brain as she is messaging people. And for anyone that feels stuck on how to reach out or what to say or where to go next or what do I say to these people, watch that video. I'm telling you, you will walk away feeling like you learned so much because she tells you exactly who she's messaging and why, and she's telling you what she's writing as she's writing it. It was so valuable. I can't stop talking about it. So
I know. Great.
Yeah. Even if you want to, send it to your people and have them watch it. It's a bit lengthy, but it's worth it. So, break it up into chunks if you have to. Joy said, I'm strict. That is hilarious. Why? Because when my buzzer goes off, I make everybody stop. Is that why? Because I'm the timer. I do the timer every time. So, you'll, and when you're done with your power hour, however long it is, you will feel so accomplished and like you got so much productive work done. It's intentional work. Like Alicen said, you're not scrolling through Facebook, you're not commenting on people, you're not loving on them, you're like doing intentional. And our rule is that it just has to be any form of IPA, and that could be any, and there's lists of IPAs in the back office too. That could be anything. That could be adding people to your network, building relationships, writing out thank you cards, sending samples, all that stuff. One night on the power hour, I just had to outline questions because I'm doing a book study. So I just wanted to do that. So it didn't take the whole hour. It took me 1 5-minute session, but anything that you consider IPA that will help you grow your business in that time. And they're awesome. And we're trying to see if a daytime one too, because we know some people, it's hard to do it at night, but they're amazing.
Everyone's working. Everyone is deliberately working, coming prepared, and it is more fun to do it with other people. I mean, it's fun to be with your team and talk to your team. If you can't do it on a Zoom call, you can get together with people at Dunkin' Donuts and do a power hour, whatever you want to do, whatever works for you. I just think it being deliberate work and doing it with someone else, it's basically like we're all each other's power partners in this. So it does make it more fun. Before we cut this out tonight, I cannot forget to say this. There is a 7-day challenge starting on July 23rd. If you have any fence sitters, this is the opportunity to get them started without a huge commitment. There is a link in Goal Diggers, but when we post the takeaway tonight, I will repost the link to the 7-day challenge in those comments. Anything else, Chris?
I don't think so.
No?
I'm gonna stop recording right now. Stop.